about freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Justice, it's about freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. I've got a hammer, I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's a hammer of justice, it's a bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. It's a bell of freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Now I see that our candidates just walked in. We're going to turn the floor over to them.
Thanks for coming. This is a really exciting time for New Democrats in Newfoundland and Labrador. I think that we could all join together and say that this is probably the first time in, I guess maybe ever, that we have had even this small gathering tonight for New Democrats. We have been able to, over the last 2 years, rally troops together. This is traditionally a liberal and conservative region of the province, and we have been able to grow our membership where we are reaching now into the hundreds on the West Coast, so we're very proud of that. So thank you very much for coming for our campaign opening this evening. So for the last 7 days, I've been out and about in the district knocking on doors. And one thing is for sure, and that what I'm hearing on the doors is that it's time for change in the Bay of Islands.
All right.
Knocking on doors and they're saying, we're tired of the old-time Liberals, the same old washed-up candidates coming out over and over and over. And we're tired of a progressive conservative member who's been silent on every single issue in the Bay of Islands. And I agree that it is it's time that we elect an NDP government that helps our seniors. And I know we have a senior here this evening who is extremely, extremely interested in that topic. And I think he believes. And another one.
Close. I'm interested.
Getting close. There we go. It's time to give our children an early start. And I attended the child care forum this morning, and I stood in front of the entire crowd, and I fought for child care in Newfoundland. But most importantly, it's fair that even the working class people get a fair deal as well. Because not always do working class people get a fair deal, especially those who are stuck in the middle class. And amongst everything, it's time for a new voice in the Bay of Islands. It's time in the Bay of Islands, this time in the Bay of Islands, it's not simply a two-way race like the media is portraying it to be. Every single day, Bay of Islanders are rallying behind us. Sharon and I knocked on doors today in Hughes's Brook, and we were not deterred. We gave out posters, and when we walked back through the community after knocking on those doors, those posters were proudly displayed in lots of different windows in the community. We're not simply driving up and popping a sign on a lawn in the Bay of Islands without asking for permission. These people are saying we are voting for change, and we're putting this sign in our window by choice. This time there's another credible candidate on the ballot, and there has never been a campaign that will be run in the Bay of Islands provincially like it will be this time from the New Democrats. It's time to elect a candidate in the Bay of Islands who isn't an old-time politician with old-time ideas connected to an old-time debt-ridden party. And I think you can all deduce what I'm getting at there. It's time to elect a candidate who doesn't hide from questioning and isn't the type to sit in the back benches and keep quiet. And I think you can all agree with who I'm referring to there as well. I am the only candidate in the Bay of Islands offering a new, energetic approach. And after years and years of neglect, 16 years of Liberal rule in the past few years, 2 back-to-back premiers, the district is still much in need. It's time to get things done in the Bay of Islands and directly help the people of the Bay of Islands. Our New Democrat team has produced the best platform that we have ever brought forward in this country. For the last 4 years, our executive has been meeting, and this platform has been costed. This platform has been looked at by economists in Newfoundland and Labrador, and we propose $142 million in spending next year alone, and all of that is costed, and we know how we are going to pay for it. On health, that's important. We will maintain balanced budgets. Most people may not know, but New Democratic governments in Canada in general have the best track record of maintaining balanced budgets. In fact, it's 50% of the time. The Conservatives, just under 40% of the time. And the Liberal Party, only 25% of the time do they maintain balanced budgets. On health, one of our major pillars is the call for a comprehensive review of our province's healthcare system. Each day I'm hearing horror stories on the doorsteps of people having to spend weeks and weeks away from their families to undertake dialysis. One lady I met this week, her husband has to live in Nova Scotia because our province does not provide the dialysis service that he needs here. On making life more affordable, we need to make a difference today and not tomorrow, and an NDP government would, in the first year of being elected, do the following things. Reduce driver's license fees by 1/3, begin a phase-in of a grant program to replace provincial student loans, and eliminate the unjust tax on gasoline, saving you folks 3.5 cents per liter every time you go to the pumps. We would also increase the basic income tax deduction by $1,100, and we will reduce small business taxes in the province by 25% to spur local economic growth. Welcome. These are some ladies that I had the pleasure of meeting today at the Child Care Forum this morning. We would also reduce ambulance fees. Right now, if you call for an ambulance and you do not have medical insurance, you get a bill for $115 in the mail. And we will change that. Our party will make life more affordable for everyday families. In the last few days, I have knocked on the doors and have heard horrible, horrible stories from our seniors in the Bay of Islands. How is it that we allow our seniors to live in such horrible conditions? Why isn't that a recent voter I have met must choose between her heat and her medications when the winter comes? That is absolutely unacceptable. A senior should never go without. time to make life better for seniors by increasing home care budgets so that our seniors can retire in the comfort of their own home. And we have many other seniors initiatives as well, so you can feel free to ask later about those. On children. The children are the youth of our future, and for this we must give them an early start. This is good for you folks that just came in. An NDP government will begin the introduction immediately after being elected to introduce full-day kindergarten, and we would develop a universal, publicly funded early learning and childhood care program. Among other things, it's also extremely important to attack local issues in the Bay of Islands. For years, we were promised work on cell phone coverage in the Bay of Islands. And I'm going to quote my dear past friend, Jack Layton. Our incumbent, Thierry Loader, gets a huge #fail on battling the cell phone coverage problem in the Bay of Islands. He has done absolutely nothing on this case, yet he promised this 4 years ago when he got elected. So people like Shelley Sr. that lives in McIvers, people like myself that live in Frenchman's Cove, if we have an accident on the side of the road, there is absolutely no way that we can call for help because we are not brought into the 21st century yet in the Bay of Islands. I will have a voice and I will work with local service providers and our government to bring that cell phone coverage to the district, which is badly needed. If we cannot bring cell phone coverage, we will install emergency telephones along the highways outside of the service area in the event of an emergency. Isn't it time that we brought our district into the 21st century? Isn't it time that each and every one of us in the Bay has access to a clean, healthy water supply? And isn't it time that we have community sewage systems? It's time, my friends, to give Bay of Islanders access to their MHA as well. This is the #1 problem that I'm hearing on the doorsteps. For the last 4 years, we have had an invisible MHA. In fact, the voters on the doorsteps have named him Invisible Thierry. I will immediately introduce 4 district meetings per year, 2 to take place on the north shore of the Bay and 2 to take place on the south shore of the Bay quarterly, so that folks like yourselves who live in the Bay of Islands can get out and about and come to an open mic forum and question me, ask me the tough questions in public and get them answered. I also would introduce half-time constituency offices on both shores as well. 50% of the time on the north shore, 50% of the time on the south shore, that people, our seniors, those who cannot find transportation to Corner Brook, for example, can have an easier time getting access to their MHA. It's time to elect an MHA who listens to you, the Bay of Islanders, and an MHA who is there for you, an MHA who will stand up for you, and an MHA who cares about you. My friends, I hope that Bay of Islanders vote for change on October the 11th. That's extremely important. We need a voice. We need a new voice, and not a voice of the years past. We cannot go back to those days. We cannot go back to the days prior to 2003 when our province experienced one of the highest debts ever recorded in Newfoundland and Labrador. We can make lives better for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, and we can make the Bay a better place. I leave you tonight with the words that keep me strong each day as I canvass the streets. And as our dear friend Jack Layton said, don't let them tell you it can't be done. And I'm going to share with you now something that I hope happens in the Bay of Islands in 2 short weeks. The suspense.
What are you undressing?
I hope that in 2 short weeks, we have 16 and a half days to go, that we experience the almighty orange crush.